There's people telling me what kind of man I wanna be. They'd understand if they just use their eyes to see that I'm in love with the thinking that she can't be with me. So I'll run, I'll run, I'll run, I'll run into your arms, your arms, your arms, your arms. There's always time, there's time, there's time, there's time for us to lose our minds.
Who are you as a band? Okay, so it's kind of a funny story because when the first ideas of actually starting a band emerged, we were in this kind of like this really, really relaxed stage. Like we didn't know what it took to become a band. We just thought we're buddies, we love hanging out, and we love music, so we should start a band. And we thought that a band was just people who played music together, you know? So it started out as us sort of just jamming in this living room or in the living room of my other neighbor, or in Benjo's house, or in our other friend's house named Gio. So it was like in this neighborhood, Cinco Hermanos, which is translated as 5 brothers, right? So several years growing up with each other, we kind of built this habit or this tradition. Every New Year's, since we'd be jamming together all the time, every New Year's we'd come to this house. And in the lanai over there, we'd have like a little New Year's party and we'd be playing music together. We'd be performing in front of our friends and family, basically. And they were just here, it was all fun, you know, it's New Year's, it's the time to celebrate. And that went on for like maybe 2 or 3 years. And then, that's when we started thinking, you know, we were like, oh, we're kind of tired of covering other people's songs because we can't really play it that well, you know, because it's not our songs. So Benjo and I thought, why don't we try writing our own songs? And that's when the movement of like, that's basically where the ball started rolling, where like we want to be like a legit band. So we started writing our songs. A lot of them failed because we didn't know how to continue them. And then we were like, okay, we're writing songs together, but if we're a band, does that mean we need to think of a name? And so we were so confused at first. We didn't know what to call ourselves. And because we didn't know what to call ourselves, we ended up calling our band or our group name 404, band name not found. It was such a stupid name, but it was all we could think of, you know, because we didn't have any ideas. And then it came to a point where one night, it was like 7 p.m., summertime, everything's chill. I go to Benjo's house and I'm like, Benjo, it's really bugging me. I hate our name. It sounds so stupid. And so we were like, okay, let's make a list of names. So we took this like sheet of paper from a notebook and we started listing down names. I think we had like probably more than 50 names. And it all just sounded so ridiculous. And so we didn't end up choosing any of them. And then we thought, okay, what are we? Who are we? Like, what do we want from this like band, group, whatever? And we were thinking, well, we're like brothers. We're all friends. And we are like we're the rowdiest kids in the neighborhood. Maybe we should call ourselves Cinco Hermanos. You know, we're not 5 brothers, but I mean, we started in this neighborhood. And it started coming together that we were like, okay, our band is like a childhood band, that kind of thing. But we were like, okay, maybe that'll work. So we started searching online, like, does any other band call themselves Cinco Hermanos? And it sucked because, yes, there's a band out there called Cinco Hermanos. So we were like, damn. And we're a bunch of video game fanatics, so like we play games that involve aliens and all that stuff, and we're like, hey, maybe we only need to use one element from this neighborhood, the cinco part, the 5. So we were like, okay, what can we do with that? No, I don't know. We treat this place like our home, so it's kind of like our zone, our area. And we're like, okay, since it's like alien, we like aliens and stuff, and we're goofy, let's try Area 51. Area 51. And when we thought of that, we're like, yes, I love that idea, but also, frick, I'm pretty sure there's another band called Area 51, you know? So we're like, ah, damn it. You know what? Maybe. Oh, wait. We're 5 members. We used to be 5 members. Maybe, like, we'll just say Area 5. Area of Cinco Hermanos, something like that. And that's basically where it started, you know, like, basically it's the name is like us taking ownership of our origins geographically. Yeah.
Why did you choose a career in music?
Well, I guess it stems a lot from the fact that my family and like my other bandmates, Benjo, Cyril, Charles, a lot of them grew up with music always in the background. So whether it be singing or music from really great movies, we all sort of shared that same passion and enjoyment from, you know, listening and creating music as kids. Like for me for example, my whole family is super musically inclined. My dad was part of a choir that sang for the Manila Cathedral. My mom loves karaoke. My siblings, my older sisters, they like did a lot of musicals in school, high school, and in fact now my not too long ago, like maybe a few years ago, my sister was part of a traveling group that performed around the world. So that kind of inspired me, and the fact that my older brother is a music major from UST. So yeah.
How did your band get your first gig?
Our first gig. Does this count like school gigs or? Because okay, no, I think I know the answer to that. Our first gig was around like 2014. We had just wrote our first original song, and we had a friend from Assumption Antipolo who said that their school holds like annual Battle of the Bands every year for their fair. So she knew that we were in a band, and she said, you guys should try an audition. So the first thing we did was auditions. You know, we sent recordings of our rehearsals to them. They accepted us, and when they accepted us, they put us in the final line for auditioning bands, and we played in Assumption. It was like a gig slash audition because the audition had an audience, and it was like its own mini fair. So when we played our first original plus like 2 covers, and that was it. Yeah, back in 2014, the first time we ever came out as a band.
How often were your gigs after your first?
That is a question. Well, part of the struggle that my band goes through is that we do things on our own, and because we do things on our own, there's never a set schedule. So we would sometimes have like 2 to 3 gigs in 1 month, or 2 to 3 gigs in the span of 6 months. So it was really like an aberrant behavior of getting gigs just by chance. And the struggle there is because we just didn't have the connections. We still kind of don't, but we have more now, which is nice. But back then, it was really hard.
Is music your full-time career?
That's interesting. Okay, for me, no, it's not. Like I have an internship and I'm still finishing school. But for other people in my band, like Benjo, who's the bassist, and Cyril, who's the lead guitarist, those two are, I think, the most passionate in terms of really practicing and doing music. I love music too. It's definitely a passion of mine. But I can never put as much time as they do to it. So like Benjo, for example, he has his own Instagram called Life, and he basically has been really diving into producing music and creating his own beats, and now he's trying to sell them online too. So whoever's watching this, if you want to buy beats, buy from Life. Anyways, and Cyril, he has a lot more time on his hands, so he gets to play more, practice more. Every now and then he'll message the band group chat and he'll tell us, hey, I made something. And that's saying something, because before he used to hate his own compositions, as in he hated making his own stuff. He always thought it was crap. So like get them putting more time into it's really nice, and I appreciate it.
How difficult is it in the music scene in the Philippines?
From the perspective of indie bands, which we are, it's pretty hard because for starters, people nowadays are so picky with music. They're so like it has to blow their minds. And I don't blame them because music is something that's so important, and if it doesn't blow their minds, then they won't really mind it. So for us, based on our experiences, the music industry, like getting big in it, is super super hard. You need to have the right connections, and by that I mean you need to know the right people who can push you farther, people who can give you the people who can give you the opportunities to play more, show people your music more. It's not something that you can just do, and it takes time to make the friends and make the connections. Like for us, we've been a band since 2014. That's like 5 years, and we're still kind of like on and off with gigs and everything. Mainly because, well, of course, if we put 100% of our time into it, we'd probably get much farther than where we are now. But I mean, music doesn't always pay the bills. It doesn't always, help you get through the days financially or just economically in general. And it sucks. I really wish that it changed because for something so beautiful to be so, for the lack of a better word, useless to most people, it's sad.
Why do you still keep making music despite the hardships?
Well, I guess that really goes back into the passion for music, or at least the beauty of music. Of course, there's a lot of ways to record and capture beauty. You can do it on a piece of paper, on canvas with paint, and in this case, you capture beauty through sound waves, through music. And there's just there's that moment when you hear something, it can be just a sentence or a tone, and it reminds you of a certain experience, a certain memory, and you just kind of feel all sorts of emotions. Where else can you get something like that? And I guess for us, we continue to write music and create music despite all of the challenges because of that, because of the opportunity to feel all sorts of beautiful things that you definitely wouldn't have guessed we'd be able to do before we even tried it. Like for starters, when we wrote our first song together as a band, we were super happy about it. And we thought this is probably going to be like, this is the most we can do. And then later on, we wrote another song. And we're like, no, okay, this is the most we can do. It sounds great, but I don't think we can top this. And then we make another song. It just kept going, and it never felt tiring or monotonous because every song we create sounds different, sounds like a different kind of experience. And of course, living in the Philippines with like super unpredictable traffic, crazy red tape systems all over the place, people get fed up with the same thing over and over. And because we don't get the same thing every time we write a new song, it's awesome. And why would we ever want to stop, right?
What would you want to say to the other aspiring
If they're starting off, I recommend that you pull your passion not from outside. By that I mean, don't look for other people's approval, because if you do that in the beginning, for sure you're going to be disappointed a lot of times, because not everyone will understand you. The fact is most artists, at least in our experience, when we started, we had an idea, but we didn't fully understand what we were doing. Understanding what you're doing with your craft, with the music and the lyrics that you make, happens along the way. So your goal or your passion should be taking as much as you can from that journey, and then just creating and creating as you go. Because the more experiences you have, the more unique your creations will be. And at first, it's going to be really hard. A lot of people are going to say, you sound like everyone else. Or a lot of people are going to say, I don't really get your lyrics. But that's only in the beginning. you keep going and you show them that you love it and not just, like you want them to love it, then they will love it. Because passion is kind of contagious. So if you have it in you, they'll see it and they'll appreciate it.